Welcome to Inside Farm Life, your weekly connection to agriculture newsmakers, hot-button industry issues, educational features, and the best in true country music. Now, here's your host, Brent Adams.
Well, here we are. It's time for another episode of Inside Farm Life Live, and it's great to have you with us this evening. A special thank you to everybody who's coming back from watching our live stream earlier today with American Farm Bureau Federation President Zippy Duval. Our special guest this evening is Nashville singer-songwriter and Grand Ole Opry performer Erin Enderlin. She has a new single out called Somebody Shot a Whiskey, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. But first of all, Erin, welcome into Inside Farm Life.
Thank you so much for having me.
How you been?
I've been doing pretty good. You know, just rocking, living that dream.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I tell you what, I know some folks are jumping on here who might be unfamiliar with your background. If not, well, if they are, first, shame on you. But second of all, before we go any further, tell us a bit about how you got from your hometown in Conway, Arkansas to Nashville, Tennessee.
So, like you said, I'm from Arkansas, and I grew up, I don't remember really a time when I wasn't in love with country music. I grew up listening to a lot of my grandpa's record collection and watching TNN with my grandma and really fell in love with it. And after high school, I ended up getting accepted to Middle Tennessee State University, which is right outside of Nashville, and moved up here and started just, you know, you can really learn so much in Nashville just by going out and watching music. There's so much talent here. So going out to shows, songwriting rounds, shows, everything, and just soaking that up and working on writing, and started co-writing for the first time and playing. And I was lucky enough in my senior year of college to have a song recorded by Alan Jackson and Patty Loveless, and he put it out as Monday Morning Church, put it out as a single. So I got to start writing full time and did that, and it's been amazing. I had cussed by a lot of my heroes like Reba McEntire and Terry Clark and Randy Travis and Joe and Rory and folks. And I always wanted to make my own music. I did make my own music, but, you know, be able to record it on records and really tour with it. And the last couple of years, I've finally been able to do that. Some guys, Jim Brown, who goes by Moose, and a guy you might know, Jamie Johnson, produced a couple records on me. And Jamie's been kind enough to take me on the road sometimes, and just really, I love that whole process. I love getting to see someone else sing my song, and it's such an honor, especially, you know, folks like Alan and Terry and folks, they write their own songs. They don't really need other songwriters. So if they fall in love with your song enough that they're like, oh yeah, I got to put my thing on this, you know, that that just means a lot. But there's something about being able to do the whole process. I love going in the studio with musicians, them just the most insanely talented musicians here in town, and getting to do that, and then getting to take the songs out on the road and watch people's faces when you're singing, and get to connect in that real intimate way is just, I love it, you know.
Well, if you're starting out as a songwriter, Alan Jackson and Patty Loveless ain't bad, but I tell you what, I'm sure glad that the world got to hear your voice too, because it's something special. And I would love it if you would kick things off with a song for us here tonight.
I would love to. I'll do one that I don't write a lot of autobiographical songs, but this is one that I wrote as a love song to my cowboy boots. These boots look a little rough, they've seen better days. Hole in the sole and the side stitching is frayed. These boots are just like me, stubborn as an old oak tree. Heels dug in and roots run deep come sunshine or the rain. I picked them up in Colorado when I played the rodeo. Pushed the pedal to the metal down this long winding road.
If you want to get to know someone, walk a mile in their shoes. My heart ain't on my sleeve, it's right here in these boots. These boots get kicked off by the door, so they don't track in mud. Don't stay there long though, I guess traveling's in my blood. These boots are tapped along as I watch some heroes sing my songs. Every time I put them on, fit me like a glove. I finally got to wear them standing on that opera stage. I walked the streets in Bakersfield where Buck and Haggard played. If you want to get to know someone, walk a mile in their shoes. My heart ain't on my sleeve, it's right here in these boots. Ooh, 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 ooh. They kept my feet on solid ground when I let a good friend go. Came with me to chase his dream, was so damn hard to hold. Secrets they could tell you, stories that they know, well, they won't last forever. The good things never do. I made some real sweet memories right here in these boots. They're just scuffed up old brown leather, but man, I love these boots.
Beautiful stuff.
Thank you.
Well, I'd say what just about every artist on the planet had to deal with the fallout of the pandemic in some form or fashion. And, everybody had to try to find a way over about a year and a half or so to try to game plan and figure out how they were going to come out on the other side better and be able to hit the ground running once things started to open up. Mm-hmm. How did you set yourself up for success during that period?
It was tough in a lot of ways, but I feel really blessed that I've had a couple of family members get sick, but no one ended up too sick. And we've all been able to do all right to make it through. And, mentally, I knew that it was going to be tough because I had a big year planned with a lot of stuff. And so I knew that the worst thing I could do is sit around and not do anything. And I had been wanting to learn how to record on my computer, just good enough so that I could have like a good guitar vocal. If I wrote something that I was just like, oh, this is special and I want to send it to someone, or, just have a little more control over being able to create. And so I didn't have any excuses of not having time for that. So I sat down and I did it. And I started recording just a couple of the songs that I love, cover songs, actually instead. And got an idea to do a project called Campfire Covers. And I've done a couple of them now where I just kind of pick a little bit of a theme in my mind and do an acoustic CD, just me and my guitar, kind of like you'd hear if we were all just sitting around a campfire, of songs that I really love, and playing those songs that I grew up loving and just are what made me fall in love with music in the first place. I think that really, brought me back to just falling in love with music again. And I've been doing quite a bit of live streaming throughout the pandemic when I wasn't able to get out and tour. And that's been really great because it's not quite the same as sitting there in front of somebody and having that real life moment, but you still get a lot of, interaction through the comments and learned a lot of new songs. I started doing this thing called laptop karaoke where I'll just, if somebody asks for a song, if I know it enough that I could maybe ruin it, I'll play it. And so going to do that. And the Opry's been kind enough to have me out a couple of times um, they were luckily able to continue this last year. And so that was really special.
Well, you are being a bit modest here because you've kind of been the queen of the live stream throughout all this. I've seen you on here a whole lot, and you really had a chance to open up and show more of your personality. What's that been like, being able to, just kind of give fans maybe a behind the scenes that they wouldn't have had the pandemic not happen, and you just gone out on tour and just done show after show that way?
It's funny because somebody was saying the other day, talking about the live stream kind of stuff and what I've been doing, that you really can't help but show off your personality when you're sitting there for an hour or two, in that kind of situation. And I guess I hadn't even really thought about that being part of the deal, but it has been a little bit, I think. And maybe that's good. I think it's, the older I get, the more I just want to be myself. I want to play music I love. I don't want to try to be somebody I'm not. And, this last year doing the Facebook live streams, that's definitely, I just get on here and this is what you see is what you get kind of thing. And so that's been really cool. And my fans are so amazing because, I really wanted to get back in the studio and be making new music for them. And they've, through the Campfire Covers projects and the live streams and things, have really supported me and allowed me to go back in the studio and record some new music. So that's been pretty amazing.
In 2018, you were named one of CMT's Next Women of Country. And if you go back and look at those classes dating back to when that program began in 2014, most of those women went on to be really successful in the country music business. What's it like being part of that sorority, especially because of all those artists? Most of them trend more toward the pop country, and you're one of the standard bearers in there for more of the traditional true country sounds out there.
It's really incredible. I've had the good fortune to have some really amazing supporters in the music industry. Some of my heroes and some of the folks that work here, publishers and managers and other folks. But when I got into that class, it kind of was really on the cusp of me putting out this new record that now looking back, I'm not sure even how I met her, but somehow I ended up meeting Leslie Fram and we became friendly, and I had played her some of the new music and done a video for one of the songs on the album. And if you don't know Leslie, she's the head of CMT, and she's been a huge advocate for all artists in general, but especially female artists when we're not, necessarily being able to get played on the radio the same, artists of color. She's not afraid to go against the status quo a little bit. And, I wasn't at a place in my career where I really even thought about getting on CMT Next Women. And she saw something in me that maybe I didn't even, have the confidence to see yet myself. And by her putting me in that class, it was really huge. I remember going to the event where she announced everything, and I was upstairs, and there were some, really big players in country music up there. And a couple of folks were asking me, "Oh, did you write with some of these artists that are on here tonight?" And I said, "No, I'm one of the artists that's getting inducted." And it really, sometimes Nashville can be a little bit like your hometown. It's a small town. I've been here since I was 18, and good, bad, and ugly, they watched me grow up. And I think her doing that, her putting that stamp of approval on my record and my albums, helped make people think, oh, and get it, like, oh, she's an artist too. And I was also able to take that then, and as I was, trying to get gigs, some of the venues who I'm sure they get, how many hundreds of emails every day, and I hadn't been able to get a response from them yet, which is, no fault of their own. They're just, trying to find something that works, trying to figure out stuff. But when I could start putting CMT Next Women of Country, Erin Enderlin, looking, for a show, they immediately were like, okay, well, if CMT likes her, this is something at least I'm familiar with, so it caught their eye a little bit more out of the whole pile.
That's awesome. I don't think people, even just in the Nashville area, get the immense amount of email traffic that bookers probably get every day. It's just overwhelming. But that's one way to stand out. Another way to stand out is to clean up at an awards show, which you have done very well through the Arkansas Music Awards there in your home state. You're named the 2021 Entertainer of the Year and Songwriter of the Year for the 4th consecutive year. That was after being named Country Artist of the Year in 2020 and Female Vocalist of the Year in 2019. And your last album, which in my opinion should have been Grammy nominated, was 2020 Album of the Year, just 2 years after your prior album, Whiskey Town Crier, was also named Album of the Year. That wasn't enough. Then Song of the Year in 2020 for Tonight I Don't Give a Damn, which you co-wrote with the great Jim Moose Brown and Jesse Joe Dillon. And in 2019 for World Without Willie, which you co-wrote with Alex Klein, Leslie Satcher, and Tara Thompson. Has to be quite a thrill for you to head back home there to Arkansas and be recognized for all that hard work that you put in Nashville.
It's really incredible, and they're doing a great job of really providing new opportunities for country music and acoustic music in Arkansas. And I love where I'm from. I still go back there a whole lot. My family is all there, and so to have that hometown love, that's something special.
And if you ever want to have some fun, get on their website and start looking at the list of people who are in that Hall of Fame, because a lot of people you wouldn't even realize hail from the state of Arkansas.
Oh yeah. It's pretty stout.
It's a long and distinguished list. I tell you what, before we go any further, I want to jump into one of the songs off your most recent album here, Faulkner County, I Can Be Your Whiskey. Tell me about this one.
This song I wrote with my buddy Sarah Siskind, and it's one of my favorites that I've been a part of. It just, I tell people it's a love song, but it's not a first love song. It's more like maybe your 7th or 8th or 9th or 10th try at it. And I love the characters, and stories. And these two folks, in my mind, have quite a backstory, but they, see something special in each other.
Well, I tell you what, for young artists who might be watching this as a singer or songwriter, this is a masterclass in how traditional country music can and still should be done here. I'm going to roll this one. This is I Can Be Your Whiskey on Inside Farm Life.
Come back for more. Order of Maker's own eyes. Chase it with a lucky strike. I can be your whiskey, I can be your cigarette. I can drown the memory that you're trying to forget. If your loving cup needs filled up, she left you bone dry empty. Baby, I can be your whiskey. My love's stronger than 90 proof. Just wait and see what one kiss can do. And if you think it's too good to believe, don't worry, baby, 'cause his rounds on me. I can be your whiskey, I can be your cigarette. I can drown the memory that you're trying to forget. If your loving cup needs filled up, she left you bone dry empty. Baby, I can be your whiskey. can be your cigarette. I can drown the memory that you're trying to forget. If your loving cup needs filled up, she left you bone dry empty. Baby, I can be your whiskey. Baby, I can be your whiskey.
Great stuff there, and not just a master class in how to sing and write a song, but also how to make sure you get the twin fiddles and steel in there.
I love fiddle and steel.
I tell you what, that gives me goosebumps to hear that. Maybe because we don't hear enough of it these days, but and it's a beautiful thing when you do.
Yeah, that's my fave.
I tell you what, as a songwriter, you've had a #1 on the Bluegrass chart for Rhonda Vincent, co-written by our pals Bobby Tomberlin and Jeannie Seeley.
Yes.
You continue to write with those folks, and as you noted earlier, songs cut by Alan Jackson, Leanne Womack, Randy Travis, Reba McEntire, and Terry Clark, among others. And those are legendary names and people who've kind of stayed true to those traditional country roots, and folks who are very selective about the music that they choose. In your opinion, what makes a good country song?
And we can't live without Leanne Womack either.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know that there is a better country singer out there in our generation.
Absolutely.
But, I think it makes you feel something. Reba always says when she picks out a song that if it makes her feel something, she thinks it'll make, it would be likely somebody else would too. And I tend to like country songs. To me, a lot of country music has always been grown-up music, real life stories, the good and the bad. And I don't know, I think to me, a lot of that kind of helps you feel not so alone. And I think that's something that we're all searching for.
Who among songwriters really stands out to you?
Matresa Berg, Gretchen Peters are some of my very favorites. Kim Ritchie, Radney Foster, Bruce Robeson. I think those were definitely a core group of writers I really followed. And Buddy Miller and Julie Miller. Oh man, there's so many I love. When I moved to town, I'd still be able to get to go out and see folks like Danny Dill, who wrote Long Black Veil, play shows.
Wow. Which
was incredible. Nancy Griffith. I could go on and on.
A lot of your songs that we just heard, I Can Be Your Whiskey, a lot of your songs revolve around the whiskey theme. What fascinates you about whiskey and its place in country music?
I don't know. It just kind of seems like one of the best metaphors, which is funny because if I drank as much whiskey as I write about it, I'd be in trouble. But
well, that was going to be my next question. Are you much of a whiskey drinker yourself?
I enjoy it, but I'm, for a country music singer, I'm a little lightweight, so I like just to sip on it,
Yeah. What are your go-tos?
I also like a good old fashioned.
Yeah.
Well, Terry Clark actually turned me on to Angel's Envy, which is dangerous. I like Maker's Mark, Jack Daniels, Dickel. There's just so many good ones.
All right. You're right here in the sweet spot here between Nashville and Kentucky here.
Yes, right in the belt, the whiskey belt.
I love it. To carry on that whiskey imagery, in March, you released Whatever Gets You Through the Night, which features background vocals from another buddy of ours and one of the nicest guys around, Dylan Carmichael, who's out there burning up the roads with a great single, Hot Beer, out there with John Party. Tell us about Whatever Gets You Through the Night.
I wrote this with my buddy, Jimmy Melton, who he's written tons of amazing songs, and y'all might also have seen him out with Jamie Johnson. He's been playing out with him for a couple years. He's also like a child prodigy on the banjo. I think he played with Earl Scruggs like the first time when he was like 8 years old or something. But he's an incredible musician, incredible writer, and just a great guy. And I took this idea to him because he really knows how to write a country song. And he's got such great melodies, and kind of told him some of the idea. And it was just one of those moments when the song comes together. You know, sometimes you have an idea and you're really in love with it, and you go in and you do what you can, but there's like this special something that you can't put your finger on, really, that has to come together just right for it to be what you hoped it would be. And this one to me is 100% like what I dreamed I would have with that song at the end of the day is exactly what I got. I love the imagery, the kind of fluid motion of it. And I love songs where you've got the narrator having a conversation with somebody that, you know, they're not actually having that conversation with somebody, but it's like the conversation you wish you could have with somebody. Yeah. The conversation you've had in your mind, 100 times.
It's powerful. And I tell you what, I want to share this one with everybody here. This is Whatever Gets You Through the Night on on Inside Farm Life.
Bad cups of coffee, old haggard songs, roll down the window on a road that's too damn long. Blur of broken white lines and flashing neon signs. Truck stops off the highway where the waitress wears a smile. In case you haven't seen one at home in quite a while. It all comes down to whatever gets you through the night. Another cheap motel room with the curtains drawn. You like the conversation, so you leave the TV on. Read the Bible on the nightstand, looking for a little light. Kill a couple beers, and if that doesn't work, that smooth Kentucky bourbon will burn till it don't hurt. It all comes down to whatever gets you through the night. I guess that's why you're calling, 'cause tonight you meet a friend, or at least someone to hold you, someone who understands. When it comes to being lonely, there ain't no wrong or right. Whatever gets you through the night. Horse ride is home. I know how far
I told you it was powerful.
I love it. I love that video too. It's funny, the guy that was, I loved making music videos. And the guy who played the lead was going to play the lead, canceled last minute. And my friend Erin, who's ended up in the video, he was Rory Feek's manager for a long time, Joey and Rory. But he's the only person I really know that's had like real acting experience. And so I texted him and I was like, I could happen to convince you to be in this video tomorrow. And thank goodness Erin's awesome. And he said yes. So.
Well, if you ever get in that position again, you got my number.
Okay, cool. Good to know. Good to know. We'll put you to work.
There you go. Well, tell me a bit about the process of writing a song like that, because it seems like it's probably easier to get into a lighthearted song, and here you got one that's just kind of really ripping your guts out, and you get a handful of people in a room trying to come up with just the right words for a song like that. What's that like?
It's interesting because to me, I almost think it's easier to get in the reel. Mm-hmm. Because it's just, you get the powerful feeling and stuff. I don't know, it's the kind of songs that I fell in love with. Mm-hmm. To me, it's harder to write more of a tempo, fun song because the lyrics have to be so spot on. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, well, I guess everybody has their own thing they gravitate towards anyway, but I don't know. There's something about that real raw emotion that you can plug into those songs that just, I guess, is more intriguing.
Does it turn into a therapy session?
Yeah. Except, like I said, it's funny because people are always asking, well, are these songs real or not? And I'll weave little parts of my life in there, or maybe an emotion that I felt, but it's not necessarily what you would think of based on the song. It's not, just verbatim what's going on in the story. It's more of just being able to kind of put yourself in the shoes of that character or the stories. I'm one of those terrible people that, like, you're sitting in a restaurant, breaking up with your boyfriend, and I'm at the next table and I'm like, okay, what are they going to say next? Like taking notes.
That's art. So you talk about the Opry. What's the count now? What are you up to in terms of Opry appearances?
I think I just did my lucky 13.
Excellent. I thought it was up there in that neighborhood. Does it get any easier from the first time to the 13th time?
To me, since I've been able to play the Opry, it's not that it's not been easy, because to me it feels like home. Mm-hmm. I have so much love and respect for it there, and I actually worked there for a while. So the first time I played there, I literally had to quit working there so that I could play. And so all my coworkers were out there, and it just like was having your whole family there, like a family reunion, and you were playing. And I don't know that I would have been able to do it as much if I didn't look out there and see all those folks, because I'm sure the audience back then especially didn't know me from Adam, but every one of my friends who was in there taking tickets and doing that, because that's what I did, was a hostess. All the hostesses told every person that came in that night who I was and that I worked there and that they wanted them to cheer extra loud for me. So I actually got, a standing ovation the first time I played there because they love me so much, my coworkers there. And the Opry really is, it's like a family, man. Everybody there, from the person that's helping you find your seat to the artist on the stage, they care about country music. They care about its legacy. And I don't know. It's just such a magical place. I usually get really, really nervous afterwards. It's like I had this out of body experience and I'm just going with it. And then that night I sit down and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I just played the Opry again.
When we talk about the legends, I mean, people like the Bill Andersons and the Jeannie Seeleys of the world have really kind of taken you under their wing and made you one of their own.
Yeah, it's incredible. Both of those artists and writers, they're both just insanely talented. And I looked up to both of them so much throughout the years. I mean, I remember meeting Bill Anderson in his fan club line when I was 16. And Jeannie Seeley, I had seen her around town a couple of times, and I actually ended up sitting next to her at a Merle Haggard concert, and I had a card in my pocket and was like, look, I'm not a weirdo, but like, just look my name up. I want to write a song with you. And when I wrote with Jeannie, she said she'd never actually written that like an appointment time before. And I guess, I mean, it's so interesting to me talking to some of those writers about the different ways that they wrote back then. But finally I convinced her, I guess. And I said, well, what's the worst that could happen? We'll have a real good time. I mean, even if we don't write a song, And I think when I played the Opry one night when she was driving in and she heard me singing, I let her talk. And I think that's what really finally swayed her.
And she continues to write with you. So you must have done something right there.
Mm-hmm. And Bill is he's so incredible. And I'll tell you what, I mean, I got to write Waffle House Christmas with him, which he put out and he did a video for. And he was kind enough to invite me to come out to the video shoot. And I figured, well, I'll just, sitting over in the corner or whatever. I mean, he had Tanya Tucker and Kid Rock and Jeannie and all these people there doing the video with him. And he goes, no, I want you to come up here and sit next to me. You wrote the song with me. And I don't know, maybe that doesn't seem like a lot, but the fact that he would even take the time to think about something like that is just incredible to me. And it really meant the world to me. And he was actually the first one that I got to have him introduce me at the Opry too, which was really special to me.
Well, Christmas in July, if you've got 5 good minutes here when you get done with this live stream before you go over to see Erin's live stream on her page at 8 o'clock Eastern tonight, go to YouTube and check out Waffle House Christmas, and you won't be disappointed.
It's so fun.
We kind of circle back around to the whiskey theme. The new single, Somebody's Shot of Whiskey, was just released to rave reviews here, and it's even in rotation. I saw on Outlaw Country on Sirius XM.
So cool, man. Yes. It is, it's doing really well. I'm proud of it. I wrote it with a guy named Ben Chapman, who's an incredible artist. I think you're going to be hearing a lot from here soon too. But it's a little different style for me, and it's something that I've been wanting to try to write for a long time. So I'm really happy with it, how it came together.
Well, it's definitely true to that true country sound with the fiddle and steel. And, tell us about the inspiration behind that song.
Well, I was playing a festival in Kansas, and the main thing I remember about it is really hot. Well, and the folks were really nice, even though it was really hot. And they had tank tops for sale there that said, I'd rather be somebody's shot of whiskey than everybody's cup of tea. And I just was like, this is exactly, I get this. I identify with this. I'm going to put this in my back pocket, and someday I'm going to convince somebody to write this with me.
That's excellent. I love stories like that where you just find that little snippet of information and tuck it away and pull it out and turn it into a big old hit.
Yeah, it's weird where ideas for songs come from. I actually found I'd taken a picture of one of the shirts with my phone, and I actually found the picture the other day, and I was like, this is it. This is the beginning.
That's awesome. And you can at least get another social media post out of that.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even thought about that. I ought to post it.
There you go. You're welcome.
You're smart.
Well, I tell you, before we go any further here, will you sing it for us?
I will.
It's a blue ribbon morning after a black label night. I got kinda whiskey. Somebody's rough around the edge. At least I can sleep well tonight, 'cause I stand behind the words I say. You can't make everybody happy. That's alright by me, as long as my baby loves me all the way from A to Z. I'd rather be somebody's shot of whiskey than everybody's cup of tea. All my life I've been told I'm cut from a different cloth, and if I tried to hide it, it all come out in the wash. So if I'm a little upset, well, I really don't give a damn, 'cause I got all the friends I need to take me just the way I am. I'd rather be somebody's shot of whiskey, somebody's blue flame in the fire. Some are gonna see the rose, some are gonna see the bride. You can't make everybody happy. That's alright by me, as long as my baby loves me all the way from A to Z. I'd rather be somebody's shot of whiskey than everybody's cup of tea. Can't make everybody happy. That's alright by me, as long as my baby loves me all the way from A to Z. I'd rather be somebody's shot of whiskey than everybody's cup of tea. Yeah, I'd rather be somebody's shot of whiskey than everybody's cup of tea.
Oh, yeah. Some are going to see the rose, some are going to see the briar. Truer words have never been spoken.
Yeah, it's it's all about that glass half full, half empty kind of thing.
Well, Erin, if folks want to download somebody's shot of whiskey, where can they go to do that? Where can they do to go to follow all things Erin Enderlin?
They can download it on iTunes and Amazon, and they can stream it on Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, and a whole bunch of other places. And they can catch me on Facebook at Erin Enderlin Music, and Instagram and Twitter at Erin Enderlin. And there's always erinenderlin.com, which will take you to all of those places.
Yes, and we'll mention this again here before the end of the show, but yeah, do get to that Facebook page, and remember that at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central tonight on her Facebook page, the one with the blue check mark, she'll be on there to share some stories and more of her great music. So I encourage you to go and check that out tonight.
We're going to have a good time. Do a little picking and grinning.
Beautiful, beautiful. So what's next for the rest of 2021 and beyond?
Well, I am going to be heading out next month with Tanya Tucker on the CMT Next Women Country Tour, and doing some shows with her this fall. And I've been working on some new music that, you know, all I can say right now is somebody's shot of whiskey is not going to be the end of what you'll see from me this year.
Oh, I love that. And just in time for us to start getting some live tapings. Hopefully we can link up again for one of those. I can't wait to hear all the new music. Another big show that was just announced today, Wednesday, August 11th, 6:30 p.m. Central Time at the legendary 3rd and Lindsley in Nashville, Wild Heart Wednesdays. You're going to be performing with the great Carlene Carter, Tara Thompson, and Maggie Ball. That's a lot of star power there on one stage. If you're in the Nashville area, tickets for that show are just $12 in advance, $15 at the door, which is a tremendous deal. But if I were you, I wouldn't dawdle here, because that's a good show and a good chance that that thing's going to sell out before walk-up tickets are even a thing.
Yeah, I played there a couple months ago with a couple other really talented folks, and we sold it out. Dane, that runs the Wild Heart Wednesday show, she does a great job.
Where are some of your other favorite venues to play around there?
Oh, around here, I mean, well, I've gotten spoiled because I get to play the Opry and I've gotten to play the Ryman. which you just can't beat that. But the Bluebird, I love playing there. Third and Lindsley is amazing. The sound there, oh my God. Kathy at Third and Lindsley, she is the sound person of my heart. Where else? Exit In is really cool. My buddy Kendall Marvel just announced that he's going to be doing a new Honky Tonk Experience show there this fall in October, I believe.
I saw that. That's another guy. We're gonna have to twist his arm to get on here. We've tried, and it's the schedules just never align. So
he's awesome, man.
Gotta get him on here. There's a laundry list of folks as we get ramped up here that I want to make sure we get on here. So we'll keep after that here. But again, in the meantime, make sure you get over to ErinEnderlin.com. Make sure you get to her Facebook page and like that, and go check out that live stream tonight at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. And Erin, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here on Inside Farm Life. And I hope you'll come back again and share more of this music. And again, hopefully we can hook up live here so we can record some of this stuff, because it's always fun having you on here just to talk shop and life and everything else.
Well, thanks so much for having me back. And I can't wait to get to see you in person again.
Well, I tell you what, it's great that we can finally get out and start doing some of these things again in person. Mm-hmm. And if you're in the Nashville area, make sure you hit up ErinEnderlin.com and see if she's going to be out anywhere, or hit up some of these places she mentioned here. Go back and watch this again and jot those down and get to those, because what she named off there really is kind of the epicenter of true traditional country music in Nashville. And what's produced around there is kind of what sets the tone for the rest of the country music world. So make sure you go check that out. And again, I want to thank everybody who's taken the time to join us here on Inside Farm Life. And I hope you come back again next time. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to the Inside Farm Life podcast, which is out now and available at Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Deezer, Audible, and Odyssey. A lot of places to get that. And we try to bring you each week the best in agriculture newsmakers, hot button industry issues, agriculture features, and the best in true traditional country music like Erin Enderlin here. And we'd love for you to take us with you whenever you're out in the tractor, the sprayer, the combine, the shop, the barn, wherever you're at, in the house. I don't care. Alexa, make sure you turn on Inside Farm Life. That's the Inside Farm Life podcast. Well, I tell you what, the clock on the wall tells me it's time for us to get on out of here. So for now, for Erin Enderlin, it's Brent Adams. Let's meet up here again next time, shall we? And hey, bring along a friend.
You've been listening to Inside Farm Life, a production of Farm Life Media. If you have topic suggestions for future episodes, drop us a line at brent@farmlifemedia.com. And be sure to check out our website, farmlifemedia.com.